learners. I am Professor Manish Kumar Bhardwaj from School of Engineering and Technology of IGNOU. And in our series of lectures, today I'll be discussing with you safe handling of construction machinery and materials. So as it is clear from its name, we are going to discuss about the safe handling of construction machinery and construction materials. As you know, in construction, we are using different kind of construction machinery, ranging from very large machines like cranes, earth moving equipments, to small equipments also, where we are using simple vibrators to compact the concrete, or some simple tools to excavate or to grade the land basically. So there are different type of machines which we are using in construction works. Similarly, we are using different type of materials. Materials used in construction are quite heavy, basically having high density like steel, concrete. Then we are using materials which are light but may be toxic in nature. So because of various nature of these materials, we have to be very careful while dealing with the construction materials. Because we have to move frequently our construction machinery as well as the materials from the stacks to the construction site or the element which is being cast basically. So at that particular place, we have to bring that material. And for bringing these materials, because these materials may be quite heavy, we need some machines which are large machines basically. So if we are dealing with these machines and these materials and we are not cautious, then there may be accidents. So because of that, the importance of dealing safely with these machines as well as the materials is very much. When we talk about machines, then and we say safe dealing with the machines, then there are various aspects. These aspects may be that pre-inspection of the machine. Means inspect your machine before using it. Because of long time of use, there may be some problems in the machines. There is always wear and tear of the machine parts. There may be some broken parts. So if you are using a machine which is having faulty parts, or wear and tear is there, or some parts are broken, then with the use of such type of machines, faulty machines, there may be a major accident. And this major accident may cause fatal injuries. So to avoid injury to the worker, as well as if some accident occur, then your work stops. Means there is no work. So there you are losing time, and losing time means you are losing money. So that way the productivity is zero. So when an accident occurs, then there is a problem of no productivity or zero productivity, as well as the health hazard to the worker, and simultaneously there may be some legal problems also. Because if some legal case is registered, then instead of working for the project, the whole team will be running after these legal activities. So to avoid all these things, means to avoid the injury to the worker or zero productivity, or to deal with that legal procedures. So to avoid all these things, it is better to deal with the machines safely. Similarly, when we are dealing with the different kind of materials, construction materials, as I told you that these may be heavy, there may be light materials, but when the materials are light, so you may be not that much cautious about dealing with these materials, but you should be, because there are some hazardous materials also which are used in the construction. Some chemicals are used. If you are not taking proper care while dealing with these chemicals which are used in the construction, then the workers may get injured. So to avoid all these things, we have to follow the safe procedures for handling these construction machineries as well as the construction materials. So this is the importance of the topic that we are going to discuss basically. Handling and storing of materials involves various operations such as hoisting tons of steel with a crane. As I was telling you that the materials may be very heavy. So dealing these materials or shifting these materials manually is not possible. So for that purpose we need some machines like cranes basically, because steel may be very heavy, and when you are dealing with the large amount of steel, then the weight comes into tons. So for transferring or moving the steel from one place to another place at the construction site, you will need cranes basically that way. Then trucks are used for transferring the concrete. We are using ready-mix concrete at the site. Then this ready-mix concrete is transported through the trucks. So when the truck is moving, then the workers should be careful that they are not hit by the movement of that truck. So that this way, this dealing with the truck, that driver should be very cautious, as well as the workers who are working at the site nearby, they should be very cautious when the truck is moving. Then some materials are moved manually also, like if you have to move 2-3 bags of cement, then workers generally carry these cement bags on their back or on their head basically, if a small work is there. Otherwise there are machines to move these loads also, but we see that at small projects and even at some large projects for moving a small amount of construction material, that manual handling of the construction material is seen at these sites. So while dealing manually for shifting of the material or for movement of the material, one has to be very cautious about that judgment of the weight, that what is the weight of that material. If a misjudgment is done, if a wrong judgment is done about that weight of the material, then worker may get injury because of that wrong posture while lifting the load or carrying the load basically. So all care should be taken while moving the material manually. What we gain when we deal the machinery as well as the materials safely? The safe handling of machinery and materials improves the productivity first of all. As I told you that if some injuries is there, if some accident is there, so there will be no work. So productivity will be zero. So if we are taking all care that no accident occurs at the site, means large productivity, high productivity. Then second is, it protects our workforce, because our workforce is very precious. Because ultimately the productivity has to be given by our workforce. If workforce gets injured, then ultimately it will affect the productivity. Then third one is, as I earlier also told, that if some accident is there and some major accident is there, if some worker gets fatal injuries, if some casualty occurs, then certainly it will be a police case. And then that legal procedures and legal operations will be followed. So in that case, the time will be wasted, money will be wasted basically. So we should avoid, or we can avoid all these problems by safely dealing with the construction machinery and the construction materials. Also, you have also seen that we take some precautions or some measures for just as a formality. For example, we generally see in the society that people are wearing the helmets while driving the two-wheelers just to avoid the penalty by the police basically. But this, it is a fact that helmet is for the safety of the two-wheeler. It should not be taken that if some traffic policeman will get hold of you, then you will be penalized, penalty will be imposed on you. So instead of thinking of the penalty, one must think about his or her own safety. So similarly, here also at the construction sites also, what happens that generally these workers try to avoid the safety regulations or these safety norms basically, because there is a psychology that they feel discomfort in that. They would not like to wear the personal protective equipment like hat, gloves, then jacket, then safety boot, all these things. They feel more comfortable without these PPEs. But it is wrong. It is for their safety basically. They should not wear just to avoid any penalty by the safety officer. Rather, they should wear these PPE for their own safety, that if they are not wearing these PPE, then they may get injury from the various operations that are being done at the construction site. So safety here also, safety is not just a compliance, but it is essential for the health of every worker and the success of the project basically. Because as I told you that if some accident occurs, then it affects the productivity, means there will be no work, there will be delay in the completion of the project, and there may be, because of the delay in the completion of the project, there may be penalty on this contractor basically. So there will be many problems. So it should not be taken as a compliance simply. It should be taken in a larger view for the safety of the workers as well as for timely completion and that quality work basically. Because if some worker is injured, he cannot do a quality work basically. So to ensure a quality work and also to ensure the timely completion of the project, one should follow all safety norms while dealing with the construction machinery as well as with the construction materials basically. And people think that they have to do something very special, something big to bring the safety at the construction site. It is not like that. Simple operations, simple change of mindset can bring safety to your construction site basically. So you have to change your attitude. You have to keep in mind that what is the right procedure or the correct procedure to deal with the machinery. or deal with the material basically. Simple precautions one has to take about that, choosing the right kind of equipment. First of all, that this list start with that, choosing the right kind of the equipment. Then dealing with that equipment properly or in a correct manner. Because there are certain norms, there are certain manuals in which the correct procedure is written, that you must do the steps 1, 2, 3 like this way. So one must follow these instructions given in the manual of a machinery or equipment, and also the proper way to deal with the material, whether it is the case of movement of the material or whether it is a case of the application of that construction material at the construction site. So simple change of the mindset that we have to be cautious while dealing with the machinery and the material. It can bring a large change as far as the safety at the construction site is concerned. This material handling is done in two ways basically at the construction site. One is when we are using the machines, then it is called mechanical material handling. When it is done manually, then it is called manual handling. Manual handling is done for lighter weights basically, but when the volume and the weight is large, then we generally use the machines, then it is called as the mechanical material handling. What are the different kinds of construction machinery that is used in the construction sites? There are various n number of machines and equipment that are used at the construction site. We can divide into certain categories all these machines or the equipment. The categories are earth movers, material movers, lifting equipment, then paving and finishing machines, then specialized equipment. If we talk about the earth movers, then in this category the machineries are excavators, bulldozers, which are used for digging and site preparation. In the category of material movers, we use dump trucks and loaders. When we talk about that lifting machineries or the lifting equipments, then one of the most important equipment is crane basically. Cranes are used for lifting of the heavy materials generally. There are different type of cranes basically which are used for different purposes. Then there are telehandlers also, which are used to handle the material which is not easily accessible. And then another category is paving and finishing machines. In this category, we count our machines which are used for paving and finishing of the surfaces basically. For example, rollers. Rollers are used to make the surface plane basically. These are used in mostly in road construction. Also in preparation of a site basically, when we are compacting the soil, then also we are using rollers. Then another type of equipment or machine is concrete mixers. Concrete mixers are used to prepare the concrete by mixing the ingredients of the concrete. Means that the ingredients of the concrete are put into the mixer. There is a drum, and this drum rotates basically and it mixes. You must have seen for small works these workers are mixing this cement, aggregate, and then water. They are mixing manually using that spades basically. But that is limited to a small amount of work basically. When we are talking about large construction sites or large work basically, and then we use the this mixing this concrete mixers basically. Then another type of machinery is specialized equipment basically, which are a different kind of machines which are used for some special purpose basically. In this category you can talk about the trenchers, which are used to dig narrow trench basically for laying of some cables or laying of some water pipeline, something like that. So this special type of machinery is used for digging the trenches basically. Then pavers are also there, which are used for making the pavements basically. Then let us see one by one these different type of equipment, how these equipment or the machineries look like, what is the purpose of these machines. So first in this category we are moving to earth moving equipments. Here you see the excavator in this category of earth moving equipment. You see here the excavator. This excavator is used for digging, trenching, material handling, and it is equipped with the buckets for scooping basically, which you see here in the picture basically. Bucket for the scooping purpose is there in the front basically. So it is used for digging, trenching and material handling. Material handling means you can move the material with the help of this excavator also. Otherwise its main purpose is for digging and trenching, as it is clear from its name, excavator. So it is used for excavating basically. Then second is bulldozer. Bulldozers are heavy machines which are used for pushing materials like pushing of soil, clearing of land. Because if at a construction site, if in that land there are bushes and some you can say waste material is there, so pushing that material off the site, these bulldozers are used basically. Then it is also used for leveling of the surfaces basically. So you see here a bulldozer, how does it look like, and it pushes the material basically when it moves in that forward direction. So its blade, which is in the front of it, it moves the material away from that side, which this is used for that pushing of soil or clearing of your land or the site, construction site. Then another type of machines which we use, which falls in that category of earth moving equipments basically, is backhoe. Backhoe is a very versatile combination of a tractor, which you see in the middle, it's a tractor basically. Then excavator in the front, here in the back you see that excavator basically. Here this is the excavator, and then loader. This is in the front, it is the loader. You see this is in the front, the loader is there. So it's a combination of a tractor, then here in the back excavator, and this is the loader. So it can serve multi-purposes basically. And it is ideal for a smaller site or the smaller task basically. This you cannot compare with that bulldozer or excavator, because this is in comparison to the excavator or bulldozer, this is not as heavy as those machines are. So for a smaller task or for a smaller sites, this backhoe can be used in place of your excavator and the bulldozer. Then another equipment which fall in the category of earth moving equipment is your grader. Grader is used to create a precise and level surface, means leveling purposes of a leveling of a ground basically. So it is having a blade you see in the middle of this equipment. This is the blade basically, which is pushing the soil from the higher places to the lower places basically. If there is a undulations in an area or a land basically, so it pushes the material from the higher level to that depressions or that lower level of that land. And if some scratching or excavation is needed in that process, so it is having some blades also here on the back of it. It is having the blades. So using these blades, it can scratch that the material from the surface of that higher land basically, and this blade which is in the middle of it, this pushes that material from the higher place to the lower place. So that way it creates a very you can say perfect level surface in your land. Whenever you are dealing with an undulated land and you want to make a plain surface, so precisely you can do that leveling of surface with this equipment which is called as the grader. Then another type of equipment which I told you is a trencher basically. This is a machine which is used to dig long and narrow trench for the laying of pipes or utilities, just like your communication cables or electricity cables. So for that purpose, because we need a long and narrow channel for laying these cables or that pipes basically, water supply pipes may be there. So this trencher can be used to dig the trenches basically. Then we move to the another category of equipments, basically material handling and transport equipment. In this category, first equipment is loader. As I told you earlier that your excavator, that bucket of that excavator can also be sometimes used as loader, but for special purpose of shifting of large quantities of soil or other materials basically, this loader is used. It is having a as you see here, it is having a bucket, large bucket here, having blades also. So it can scratch from that surface. If it is something sticky thing, it can scratch and just dig from a small to a small depth basically, and then load it and can transport to the other places basically. So this is the loader. So we will continue our discussion with after a small break. So let us meet after a small break. Thank you.
पहाड़ों पर जाना किसे पसंद नहीं। इस तरह के पहाड़ तो आपने देखे ही होंगे। चलिए आज आपको विशेष प्रकार के पहाड़ों की सैर कराते हैं। ये हैं कूड़े के पहाड़, जिनके बोझ तले दुनिया दबी जा रही है। इन कूड़े के पहाड़ों में है हमारे घरों, कार्यालयों, उद्योगों से निकलने वाली बेकार की वस्तुएं, जैसे इस्तेमाल किया हुआ कागज़, फटे कपड़े, पुरानी लकड़ी, धातु, कांच के सामान, सब्जी फलों के छिलके, पुराने मोबाइल, लैपटॉप इत्यादि। कूड़े के ये पहाड़ न केवल शहरों में बल्कि गांव में भी पाए जाते हैं। अपशिष्ट की बढ़ती हुई मात्रा और इसकी विषैली प्रकृति हमारे पर्यावरण और स्वास्थ्य को नुकसान पहुंचाती है। कभी सोचा है इसका निपटान कैसे होता है, या क्या होता है इन कूड़े के पहाड़ों का? कैसे हम इस समस्या से छुटकारा पा सकते हैं? इन सभी प्रश्नों का उत्तर देने के लिए इंदिरा गांधी राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विश्वविद्यालय अपशिष्ट प्रबंधन में प्रमाण पत्र कार्यक्रम प्रस्तुत करता है। यदि आप नगर निगम में कार्यरत हैं, सैनिटरी इंस्पेक्टर हैं, अपशिष्ट प्रबंधक हैं या अपशिष्ट से जुड़ी हुई परामर्श सेवाएं, अनुसंधान या विकास कार्य करते हैं, तो ये कार्यक्रम आपके लिए सर्वोत्तम है। कार्यक्रम की न्यूनतम योग्यता है 12वीं उत्तीर्ण और इसे 6 महीने में पूरा किया जा सकता है या अधिक से अधिक आप इसे 2 साल के अंतराल पर भी पूरा कर सकते हैं। कार्यक्रम में शामिल है स्व शिक्षण पाठ्यक्रम सामग्री, ऑडियो वीडियो संसाधन और विभिन्न माध्यमों से शिक्षण की सुविधा। तो फिर देर किस बात की, चलिए समस्या का नहीं समाधान का हिस्सा बने। अपशिष्ट प्रबंधन में प्रमाण पत्र कार्यक्रम में दाखिला लें। हम आपके स्वागत के लिए आतुर हैं। अधिक जानकारी के लिए देखें www.ignou.ac.in। धन्यवाद।
Welcome back, learners. So we were discussing about the material handling and transport equipment, in which I discussed with you. First one is the loaders. Then next equipment is dump trucks. These dump trucks are open bed vehicles for transporting loose materials, gravels and debris. There is a hydraulic system to offload that material, as you see here. This is the hydraulic system. With the help of this hydraulic system, this truckload can be offloaded automatically by pressing that button. Basically, there is no need of any worker to empty that material or taking out that material or offload the material of this truck. This can be done with this hydraulic system. Then in this series, cranes is another equipment which is very important equipment and which is used for lifting and moving heavy materials, and it is such a versatile equipment that it can move the material vertically as well as horizontally. So in any direction, whether you want to make a vertical movement of that material, if you want to place that material from lower level to the higher level, or want to shift from one place to another place in a horizontal direction. So this equipment means that crane can be used basically. And if you have seen the multi-story buildings, high-rise buildings, you see there that these cranes are very much used there in that construction of the multi-story buildings or the high-rise buildings. If you have gone through at some construction site constructing a high-rise building or multi-story building, you might have seen that on the top of the building a crane is there for shifting of material in vertical as well as in horizontal direction. Basically, you see here one of that such crane basically. Then another type of equipment or machine is the telehandler. This machine is also known as a telescopic handler, and this is they combine the function of a forklift and a crane basically, using a telescopic boom to lift the material to the high-rise area. So it is something you can say that here, as you see this, that if you want something to be placed from ground to on this higher level, and also not only that higher level, deep into that at higher level. So you need a long boom basically. So that is fitted there. So this machine is helpful while dealing with that material which is to be placed at higher level and deep inside basically. Then another type of machinery which is very much used at the construction site is concrete and paving equipments, in which first one is the concrete mixer. There are two type of concrete mixers. One is which is non-movable, means which is at the site itself preparing the concrete basically. That concrete mixer where the concrete is prepared at the site itself basically, in situ basically. There is as I told you earlier also, that there is a drum which rotates and that material is poured into that, like cement, aggregate, water is poured into that, and then that drum rotates and mix all these ingredients of the concrete, and then finally give you the prepared concrete. Another way is that if you want a better quality control, so in larger projects, what we do that we call the ready mix concrete, because this ready mix concrete is made at a concrete preparation plant, batching plant basically. From there it is transported to the construction site. So for that purpose this concrete mixer trucks are used basically, and these trucks carry from that concrete, ready mix concrete, from the plant to that construction site. And while transporting that, this drum, there is a drum in this truck basically, this constantly rotates at a slow speed, and by this action it is mixing the concrete basically. And also that it avoid any setting of the concrete. Because of that rotation, it avoid any setting of the concrete while transporting from the plant to the construction site. Here you see one of that concrete mixer truck basically. This is the truck, this is that drum in which that concrete is transported. This drum rotates constantly at a slow speed. Then another type of machinery or equipment is asphalt pavers. These pavers are used for road construction basically, and which is laying of that asphalt and leveling that. So this is used for making the this flexible pavement basically, in which the asphalt is used. And then another type of machinery is the roller. These rollers are used to compact the soil or asphalt or other materials to create a smooth surface for the construction purposes. Generally, it is used in construction of roads, but for compaction of soil, and that our project site also, building construction sites also, they are used for compaction of the soil basically for a large land. Then another type of machinery which is used at the construction site is concrete pumps. There are certain situations where that concrete has to be placed in a place which is not easily accessible basically. It may be at a higher place, or it may be in a you can say deep inside the earth. So for that purposes, to pour concrete, we use the concrete pumps. Here you see one of that concrete pump. This is the your concrete mixer truck. So it has carried that concrete from the plant to this construction site. Then the concrete is poured out, and means it is connected to a pump basically, and then this pump is used to place the concrete through a pipe to that site basically. Here, this is the pipe, this is a supporting you can say infrastructure. So over this support, basically a pipe is there, concrete pipe is there, and this pump is pumping this concrete through this pipe into this site basically. So this is the concrete pump. Then there are other specialized equipment also, just like drill rigs, which is used for digging holes in the soil and rock, and essential for foundation and the geotechnical work, basically for creating foundations of the building basically, or some geotechnical investigation is to be done. Then these drill rigs are used to take out samples by digging hole in that soil basically. Then pile drivers are there. Pile drivers are the equipment which are used for driving the piles. Piles are the one of the special type of foundation basically, which is used under the heavy loads or where the soil is not having good bearing capacity. In these cases, the special type of foundation is used, just like under the flyovers, under the column of the flyovers, or under the this overhead water tanks basically. So where the heavy load is there, or the soil is weak actually. So there this pile foundations are used, and these piles are, if that ready-made piles are there, these are driven into that soil, so that pile drivers are used for that purpose. Then skid steers are used for compact and versatile. This is a compact and versatile machines which can be used for various tools and attachments, and it is useful in the tight spaces, means where the space is not large. Where in narrow spaces, when you have to work in narrow spaces, this is used basically. Then paving equipments, as I told you earlier also, pavers are used for that purpose, for asphalt paving on the roads basically you can use that, or for concrete paving also you can use these pavers. So these are some special type of equipments which are used for the construction purposes. So with the introduction of the different type of machinery, that what kind of different type of machine and equipments are used in construction basically. Now let us move to the what are the common hazards in handling machinery and the materials. Means for what we should worry about that our own safety as well as the safety of the equipment basically. Because in both the cases, if there is a breakdown of the equipment, then work will stop. If there is an injury to the worker, work will stop. So health of both machinery and man is essential. We should ensure the safety of man as well as the machinery. So the common hazard in handling the machinery and the materials are strain. Means while dealing with that machine, while dealing with power tools especially, or while dealing with heavy loads basically, the workers may get strain. They may get sprain also. There, if some accident occurs, then they may get fracture also. So how this will happen? All these happen. This may be because of that wrong assessment of that load, that how heavy the load is. If there is a wrong assessment of the load, then there may be sprain in the body of that worker. If we are dealing with a faulty equipment, then there may be an accident, then there may be injury, there may be fracture because of that faulty equipment basically. And also, if a worker is exerting too much, then that strain and sprain may come into the body of that worker basically. So these are the reasons for strain, sprain, or some fracture even in the body parts of the worker. Then if you are dealing with some moving parts, a machine which is having some moving part and some collapsible loads are there, then there may be chances of crushing or pinching of the body part. Means if some finger or hand come in between the moving parts of a machine, then that fingers may be crushed, fingers may be pinched basically. So one has to be very careful while dealing with the equipments which are having moving parts, means some rotating parts basically. So, or while dealing with some power tools basically. I have an you can say experience of one of that carpenter who was working in that door frame, wooden door frame. He was dealing with that power tool, and he was just smoothing or cutting that some portion which was some extra portion on that door frame basically. So this while dealing with that power saw basically, there was some you can say defect in that timber basically. There was a knot basically. It's a dead portion in that timber. So because of that knot, that his power saw jumped basically, and it chopped off all his fingers. So such type of accidents may occur. So one has to be very careful while dealing with the power tools or any machinery which is having the moving parts basically. Then there may be fall of the worker. Worker may slip if the surface is slippery, or the worker may fall from a height if he is not careful. So one has to be very careful when a worker is working at a height. He or she should wear that all that necessary PPE to arrest the fall, arrest of the person if there is any chance of that falling of that person. So these are some of the common hazards which occur while dealing, means wrong dealing with that or wrong handling with the machineries and the materials basically. Now let us talk about what are the safe practices while dealing with that mechanical material handling equipments. What we should do to make our operations safe. So first one is pre-start inspection. Pre-start inspection means inspect your tools or machineries before starting the work. What you should see there, what you should check there basically, that you must check whether there are any torn part, broken thing, whether there is any crack in there, any part, or there is some missing part, or there is some wear and tear in some part which is clearly visible basically. So if something is there, then don't use that equipment or machinery till it is not repaired. So first one is the inspection, visual inspection, that for any of crack or leakage, if it is having some hydraulic system in that, so there should not be any leakage in that hydraulic system, because if that hydraulic system is leaking, then its hydraulic system will not work basically. So that way we have to do the pre-start or the pre-work inspection of our machines and the equipment. Then load management. That we should know the load capacity of our equipment. That how much load it can take, how much stress it can take. So one should use within that limit only. We should not overload basically. So we should check with the manuals or the checklist that for how much pressure, how much load, how much stresses a particular equipment or machinery can be used. Because if you are overloading it, if you are overstressing it, then certainly an accident is going to occur. So to avoid that, first of all, you must know that what is the load capacity, what is the capacity of that equipment which it can carry or it can bear, and then use within that limits only. Don't go beyond that limit basically. Then one should be careful about that area safety. When you are working in some area, then you should ensure that proper barriers are placed there. Means there should not be unauthorized entry in your working area. So there should be a proper barricading of that working area. Then warning signs should be there, that if somebody is coming, if the area is using some electric machines and electric cables are there, electric wires are there, or some hazardous material is there in that particular area. So there should be proper warning signs should be there. Some placards or board should be there for the warning of the workers or some engineers or supervisors. If they are visiting your site, then they should come to know from these warning signs that there are something hazardous is there. We have to be careful, and what precautions we should take to come into that particular area. So that area safety should be properly taken care of. Then emergency stops. That if your machinery, in your machinery basically there should be a provision of stopping the machine in emergency. Because if some emergency is there, if something has gone wrong, so you can stop it quickly. So some emergency stops mechanism should be there. Otherwise it may lead to some major accident. So that way it should be there. Then one of the most important aspect is PPE, personal protective equipments. Personal protective equipments are the you can say our materials which a worker wear while working at the site. There are lot many these equipment are there, so just like hard hat, which safeguard the head of a worker from the falling objects, or if a worker slips and if he dash into some you can say hard material, so it safeguards their head basically. Then there are safety jacket, there are gloves, there are safety pants, there are safety boots basically are there, which is safeguarding their feet from getting injured from that some you can say nails or some sharp-edged materials or some tools basically. So if by mistake they are stepping over such things, so their feet are safe in that case. If some worker is working at a height basically, so harness is there, so which safeguard from a fall these workers basically. So worker should wear the appropriate kind of PPE before going to work at the construction site. And not only appropriate, that should be the size also matters. If a worker is wearing a loose hat, then it is of no use, because it may fall anytime. If a worker falls from some height or even at the ground basically, if he slips or trips basically, then in that case a loose hat will go away from the head, and then in that case the worker may get injury to the head. So worker should be very careful while wearing these PPE, that they should fit according to their size basically. And appropriate type of the PPE should be used for a particular purpose. Means appropriate means here that if there are chances of some flings, means when there is some grinding is done basically, so there are some objects are flying. In that case, worker should wear the safety glasses. Likewise, if a worker is dealing with some toxic material, some toxic chemicals, so they should have some that respiratory protection PPE basically, which they can wear on their nose and the mouth basically, so that the gases which is coming out of that hazardous chemicals, they are not going into their respiratory system. So just to protect their respiratory system, they should wear that respiratory protective equipment basically, or mask. Different type of masks are available, so they should wear those masks basically. Then let us move to precautions for safe working with the cranes. These cranes are generally used at the construction site for various purposes, and because these are the large machines, so one has to be very careful. Not only this crane operator, the workers which are working around these cranes basically, they also have to be very careful at a site where the cranes are being used. So let us see what are the provisions for safe working with the cranes. First of all, equip all cranes that have adjustable booms with boom angle indicators. These indicators should be there. Second is, provide the cranes with telescopic booms with some means to determine boom lengths unless the load rating is independent of the boom length. Then third one is, post load rating charts in the cab of the cab operated crane should be there. All cranes do not have uniform capacity for the same boom length and radius in all directions around the chassis of the vehicle. So for that purpose, that chart should be there. Post load rating chart should be there basically. Then we should require the workers to always check the crane's load chart to ensure that the crane will not be overloaded by operating conditions. Because there are many accidents that have occurred because of this reason, that cranes were used for lifting or transporting loads more than their rating capacity. There are many cases of the crane failures or crane collapses basically, in which many casualties occurred basically. So one has to be very careful that cranes should not be used for dealing with the loads which are beyond their rating capacity. Then instruct the workers to plan lifts before starting them to ensure that they are safe. Then also, you should tell the workers to take additional precautions and exercise extra care when operating around power lines. Because if you are using crane and if some nearby some power lines are there, electric lines are there, and if they are naked wires are there, in that case one should be very careful. If your crane come in touch with that naked wires, electric wires, then there will be a major accident. So one should be very careful about that. So we discussed about that what are the different kind of machineries and equipments which are used at construction sites, what are their purposes, then what are the common hazards that may occur at a construction site, and then what are the precautions that we must take while dealing with or handling with the cranes. So I hope you must have enjoyed this discussion, and I hope you will go through the self-instructional material that is provided to you. And when we come for that next lecture, and then you may be able to ask your queries and questions to clear your doubts. So thank you.